Hi guys, I just wanted to come to you today and make a quick video kind of talk about my why with Plexus, why I started, and real quick let me introduce myself. My name is Andrea Binley Murray and I am a Plexus Worldwide Ambassador. I'm a Senior Gold Ambassador working towards Ruby, so working hard towards that. I just wanted to share a little bit because although I have a lot of friends and family that take the products currently, I also have a lot of new clients, customers, and referrals that may not know my story or know a lot about the product, so I just wanted to give a little bit more info. My journey kind of started in November of 2015. I signed up initially just for a discount. My goal with that was I wanted the best price, so I wanted the 25% off, and I wanted to quit caffeine. That was a big deal for me because my full-time profession is a firefighter. I'm a fire captain for a municipal department, and I've been there for about 10 years, and we were often up all night. We work 48-hour shifts, so you could be up both nights and you survive off of caffeine. I would have coffee with creamer and Splenda and Rockstars in the afternoon, and I told myself that it was okay because it was all sugar-free. And I didn't really know the damage that I was doing to my body. Even though I'm a paramedic, we didn't really learn about gut health in paramedic school, so I wasn't really aware of some of the issues that I was causing. My primary reason for wanting to quit caffeine was because my husband and I wanted to try to conceive, and I didn't want to be pregnant and have to deal with morning sickness and caffeine withdrawal, because that's how much caffeine I drink at the same time. So, and I wanted to get my body as kind of balanced as possible. We had been trying for a little while. I'd been off birth control for about 6 months before starting Plexus, and I was still having really irregular cycles, which I've had my whole life, but I was having like 10 to 14 day periods, so I would say that I was like an animal that should go in the woods and die, but I didn't. But I was consistently anemic. I couldn't donate blood. So there was just a couple other things that I wanted to focus on as well, other than just the quitting caffeine. But when I did start Plexus, I quit caffeine cold turkey because I wanted to see if this is something that was actually going to work for me, and if it did work, and I wanted to be able to see and feel a difference, which I did. So within the first about 10 days, 7 to 10 days, I'd say, I started noticing a difference in my sleep patterns. I had a hard time going to sleep at night, like shutting down, shutting my brain off was something that didn't come easy for me. I started falling asleep really easily and waking up refreshed and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, which for me, that is also not the norm because I am not a morning person in the slightest. I don't like mornings, and or at least I used to not like mornings, and I would sleep in until my heart's content. So now I feel completely different, and I wake up energized, and I was even using, this isn't my Fitbit, but I have a Fitbit, and I was even using that to track my sleep patterns in the beginning to see if I noticed a difference, which I did. So that was something that was advantageous for me when I first started as well. I started on the Triplex, so that's just the pink drink, which you'll hear, it's Plexus Slim, but you'll hear us call it the pink drink. It comes in a little single packet like that. You just mix it in water, shake it up, and I have mine first thing in the morning, 30 minutes before I eat. I do that because I was always used to having coffee or something to drink in the morning, so I do that in lieu of that. Then that also is the Bio Cleanse and the ProBio 5, our probiotic. So all three of these products together make up the triplex, and they work synergistically, and they work really well together. And that's what I started with. Because we were trying to conceive, I ended up adding eventually the X Factor because it has the folate in it. And I have some friends that have the MTHFR gene and have had some complications in pregnancy because of that. So I was kind of aware of going with the folate rather than the folic acid. I really didn't know as much as I do now. I wasn't as educated on MTHFR and some of the things that can occur with that. So I just knew that the folate was the purest form, and that's what I wanted rather than take pregnancy multivitamin, a prenatal that had folic acid, and it's harder for your body to break down. So I started with that, and then I also started with the omegas. It has the omega-6, 9, 3, 5, and 7. So we have 5 different omegas in here. So this is also going to help for the development as well. I do recommend, if you are trying to conceive, that you take this prior to conception, because it will help the neural tubes develop within the fetus, which occur within the first 6 weeks. So that's something that is a big deal for, or it was for me. So again, there's a lot more information out there, and I can get into those things. If you guys have questions, message me later. So to continue on, so I didn't really share the products in the beginning. I was a little apprehensive. I work with all men, and I didn't really want to hear the backlash, and I was nervous, and I wasn't really sure that I wanted to do this as a business. But the more I started using the products, and the more consistently I noticed the changes in myself, I noticed that my cycles started becoming regular. I noticed that my periods started becoming shorter, to the point where before we conceived, I was having a 5-day period down from a 14-day. So that was amazing for me. I also noticed my energy level was increased, and I didn't nap the way that I used to. If we were at work and we had lunch break and we weren't running calls, we would take a nap. If I was off, I'd go to the gym, come home, shower, take a nap. So I don't do that anymore, even being pregnant. I have had so much more energy. I still take all of these products while I'm pregnant. I checked personally with my own doctor, and with that, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the beginning, but Plexus doesn't claim to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any sort of disease. So I just want you to know that you should always check with your doctor, which I did. So what I did when I went to my doctor, though, is I wrote down everything that was on the supplement labels, and I asked them specifically if these were okay for me, and the micrograms, milligrams, I use all of the dosages, if these were appropriate for me to take as a prenatal, and she said that she was fine with that. So that's something that I recommend that you check with your doctor on. And then, so when I'll backtrack. So then I started taking it. I started sharing a little bit. My first goal with sharing was to just kind of get my products paid for, and I'm frugal, and I just didn't want to pay for them. So that's kind of why I started sharing. And then the more I learned about gut health, the more I learned and educated myself on it, the better that I felt more obligated to share. And I think that kind of comes with my career and wanting to help people. I realized that this was a tool to help people feel better. I started making my husband take them. He has gout, and he hasn't had a flare-up since he started taking them. They've all been minimized and gone. And he would have them often, even though his diet was pretty on point. So this has helped him a lot too. So then I started sharing a little bit and started trying to help people feel better, because that's my overall goal, is just to help people be the healthiest, happiest versions of themselves. And if you feel like yuck, you're not going to feel that way. You're not going to be happy and healthy and have energy to play with your kids or to go do activities and things like that. So that was kind of why I started sharing. We continued to try for a baby, and we went to go see a fertility specialist. With that, we had all of our labs drawn and everything, and when before we even got the results of our labs, we found out that we were pregnant, and that we were able to conceive naturally, and that was a blessing to us. I personally feel it was because I eliminated a lot of the bad things in my body, and I started regulating myself, which regulated my hormones, which regulated my periods and ovulation. And so that was something that was really helpful for us, and we didn't have to go some of the more dramatic routes with IVF and or IUI. And I know that those are options, and those are a blessing to people in their own way, and everyone's body is different. So don't think that if you take these, you're going to get pregnant right away. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you need to take your body and cherish it and try to make it the healthiest version of itself and make it as balanced from the inside out as possible. So that's what I found was helpful for me. Since then, I began actually treating Plexus as a business, and it's been more than just a blessing health-wise for our family. Financially, we've been able to grow. with this business as well. I'm on maternity leave right now, and I was on light duty for the duration of my pregnancy. The second that I found out, I went into the office, so that means no overtime. So Plexus has filled that gap for us. So I'm making overtime money, and the luxury is that I don't have to spend 24 hours away from my family. And that's going to be even more important to me when the baby comes, because I'm not going to want to spend more time away from him than I have to, especially when he's really young. So that's kind of why I started. And the bigger why now is just, again, I want to help people feel better, but I also want time freedom and financial freedom for my family. I don't want to have to worry ever about money and things like that. Our department's probably going to end up being absorbed by San Bernardino County soon. There was a vote at a council meeting last night, so that was super fun. But at some point, that means pay cuts. And so this little endeavor on the side that I started as just for a discount has really, really helped our family financially. And it's something that I'm going to continue to do and continue to share. So if you guys have any questions, please message me, text me, call me. Any form of social media is fine. I'd be more than happy to share with you and to try to get you to feel your best and maybe even help your family out financially as well. And if you post on your wall that you're tired, that you need coffee today, that you don't feel good, that you're sick, just know that I'm going to reach out to you, and it's coming from a good place, because I used to get sick all the time, especially in my line of work, and I had a horrible immune system. I have not been sick once, legitimately sick since starting Plexus, other than morning sickness, which doesn't count. But and I believe that's to our probiotics and getting my gut health on track and having a good immune system built up in my gut. So if you guys have any questions, please message me, call me, and I'd be happy to share. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.